Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Hello episode. Wait, what the hell? No.
83. It's still 83 because
Mhm.
we had that weird bug. I had that weird bug last week where the audio didn't sort of split for me, so everything was on the same channel. Literally cannot edit it. It's physically impossible.
It's
Don't
fine.
know
We
what
didn't
OBS
talk
did,
about
but
stuff, did we?
no, it's not like we spent 40 minutes of our like Wednesday morning talking about things like how there's a new AAA Lord of the Rings game coming out, and then like not the Golem one, but like a totally
The
different
MMO
one.
one, yeah.
Yeah, and then like Overwatch 2 like totally scrapped some stuff in their game that got people a bunch of
Yeah.
mad and things like
And then some
Steam banned
lawyer
gambling
stuff,
somehow. Like, yeah, we got like real deep on it. NFTs, we talked about, remember those things, Jen's? NFT, we talked about those.
Yeah, that was a good chat.
There was a bunch of stuff. You had to be there. You would have missed it.
Yeah,
but, you know,
shame.
shame. It is what it is, I guess. And Jens, regardless, last week was a lot of stuff. This week we've got even more stuff.
But the fun stuff.
Like 3
The
pages
really fun
worth of stuff. 4 pages worth of stuff, but the really fun stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. So we're this week totally just going to bypass what we've been playing for the past 2 weeks now, basically, because what we've been playing the past 2 weeks has been the same.
Yep.
Pretty much. I've been playing Breath of the Wild. Jen's been playing Siege.
Same
shit, different day, you know. But we've got a ton of stuff to get through, like Jen sort of said, a ton. So, Jens, do you want to kick us off with the not E3 but E3 schedule that's coming up for like the next month or two? Because there's a bunch of these things that have already been announced that I honestly didn't even know were happening.
Same. So yes, very exciting for gamers. There's going to be a whole bunch of announcements and showcases coming up. For example, if you're hearing this, the PlayStation 1 has already been announced and people are talking about it, and we will talk about it after this. But after PlayStation, there's going to be Summer's Games Fest, which, you know, we're all familiar with. It's been here for a while. That's happening on June 8th. These probably also are going to be US dates. So I'm just going to say the US dates just for familiarity.
Add a day or two just for...
just asterisks on
just
that.
In case.
But it's not totally clear who's going to be there, but from what happened last year, it's probably going to be 2K, Activision, Capcom, Atlas, EA, Sega, Netflix, and more. Netflix is an interesting addition because Netflix now trying to be part of the games industry. You know what?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yep.
Following that is the Wholesome Direct, which I am really excited for. This is June 10th, and you know it's going to showcase all your wholesome, cozy games that you could ever want.
I love that those games are so big now that
it's their own showcase.
Like it's their own category now. They've like before maybe it was like farming sims is what was sort of, but now they're like a totally different thing where it's their wholesome games. That's
I
a new
love
category.
that. I love it. Yeah. So hopefully it's not, you know, gonna let us down. Hopefully we get some gems in there. Following that, on the same day, June 10th, Future Game Show Summer Case, which is presented by Games Radar. So probably, I don't think this, it says how it would have like exclusive trailers and world premieres. So should be interesting. I've not heard of a Games Radar Future Games Show. I don't remember this from last year.
Yeah, it might be a somewhat new thing. That they're quoting unquote fresh hosts, so it's not going to be like your Jeff Knightley, which we would usually get for like the Summer Games Fest, you know, the main announcement shows. I'm wondering if their exclusive trailers and premieres are going to be more of like the indie sort of games than they are the big AAA ones that come out on like the main primary day. I would assume that would be the case. Still something to keep your eyes and ears peeled though for, because you know these days there's a ton of indie gems that keep coming out that, you know, slip under the radar on things. So
for sure, like that's why Planet of Lana came out of nowhere, and it's getting incredible reviews. So.
That's true. There's a ton of them that come out and things.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, with all these things, they're all happening around the same week, so it's like
it's gonna be
bombarded with a bunch of like of news. Like, good luck. Good luck. Yeah,
especially on June 11th, because there's gonna be an Xbox games showcase that will probably, you know, show off the new Forza Motorsport title, Senua Saga, the Hellblade 2. I can't wait. And other Xbox games that are in development, such as Fable, Avowed, Outer Worlds 2, and Perfect Dark. And there is rumored going to be chat about Rare's next game, Everwild, or the new Gears game.
Cool.
So,
cool.
but there won't be any Starfield this direct. No, but don't worry, they will get their own direct, the Starfield direct, on the same day, happening straight after Xbox Game Showcase. I don't know why it's having a separate direct, but it is. So yeah, we're gonna go deep into what you can expect from Starfield. So that'll be exciting. But
now, can I just intervene real quick? Jess?
yes,
I'm not sure. This Xbox Game Showcase, there's going to be a lot of sort of talk surrounding it, I would assume. Because I don't know if you've seen, but recently there's been a couple of people that have been somewhat peeved off with Xbox.
Oh,
Mostly because they've like promised all of these big giant games and things, but like
there's nothing to show.
I can kind of see the point, but there's nothing to show. Yeah. So, like, if you look at my PlayStation 5, I got a ton of games on my PlayStation 5 that I have loved and enjoyed since that thing came out. But, like, Xbox players have had, like, you could list off, like, the big games they've had probably on one hand.
Yeah.
Where it's been, like, the new Halo. It's been, you know, maybe the new Forza, if you want to include that, like Forza Horizon 5. Like, things like that. There haven't been any giant games. And so I would expect that Xbox is sort of trying to scrounge around to see what they can announce at this sort of showcase to make it seem like you purchasing
It's
an
still
Xbox
worth
3
it.
years ago was worth it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
a good
I would be
point.
very interested. I keep my eye on this sort of direct as well, because I would assume they would be trying to do something big, something exciting.
Yeah.
You know, like you sort of said, the Rare game would be a big one, and, you know, maybe seeing a Gears game as well, or something within that sort of franchise would be cool. But yeah, it's because I feel like ever since Xbox bought Bethesda, it's just been
They've been a bit preoccupied.
Bethesda. Like, they've just been like shouting out Starfield and things, and not like some of their other studios' games. So yeah,
That's fair.
it'd be interesting. Maybe that's why they did the Starfield Direct on their own thing, so that the Xbox Direct can be like dedicated to more other Xbox Studios games. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, yeah, they're pretty much putting all their eggs in the basket for Starfield, I feel. Just the amount of hype and talk about Starfield, and just it feels like such a huge thing that people are waiting for. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure. But yeah, I haven't actually been playing anything on my Game Pass. I would always look at like before stream, I would look up what's on Game Pass,
If anything's
you know.
come out.
Yeah. But now it's just like, oh, it's just the same list of games. There's nothing here. So yeah, they need to give me some games, please.
Game. Yeah.
Oh, and also on the same day, June 11th, we are getting a PC gaming show, which will be crazy to, I don't know when it's going to happen, if it's it will happen after the Xbox and Starfield Direct, so there's no clashing, which is good. But no details on what we'll be showing on this, but it will be held by PC Gamer, the news website. So
the publication. Yeah.
June 12th, we've got Ubisoft Forward. No word yet on what to expect beyond game updates and reveals. So I feel like Ubisoft also is kind of on the line of like, okay, you've been talking a lot about Skull and Bones. Like we need to hear more and see these dates, right? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of been quiet on the Ubisoft.
Give me substance. Give me something. You know, like it's one thing to have a title and like a show card. It's another thing to have actual gameplay and like a date, which is something we'll also talk about with like the PlayStation showcase that happened this morning, because that was one of the things that I kind of pulled up on, was like, little bit of substance missing, but that's for the next 15 minutes from now. I would like to see more of this Avatar game that they announced a year or so ago.
I didn't know they were doing an Avatar game.
We've seen a little bit of Skull and Bones now. We've seen a little bit of Assassin's Creed. We kind of know what to expect with Assassin's Creed. But this Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game, we have no idea what it's going to be like, if it's going to be familiar sort of territory, if it's going to be something a little bit different. You know, is it going to follow Ubisoft formulas like what they've done in some of their Far Cry games or anything like that? So it's, seeing more of that would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, we can expect Skull and Bones. We can expect more Assassin's Creed stuff. We can probably expect a new Just Dance or something like that. You know.
Oh yeah, true.
It's a Ubisoft Direct. They do very similar things each time. So yeah.
June 13, we've got more Xbox game showcase extended. It'll be in-depth interviews covering news from the Xbox Game Showcase, along with game updates from Xbox partners. So like just like a little
More
extra
behind the scenes
thing.
stuff kind of
Yeah.
things. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. It's cool that they do more of these things as well now, because it, like, you get to, it's like, meet the developer, and you just get
Totally.
more of a, like you said, in-depth kind of a look into like their development process and how it's sort of tracking along and what they're focusing on and things like that. It's cool to see. It's, yeah, especially like even from some of the indie developers that Xbox has as their
Yeah.
partners and things too. Like not even the big AAA ones like your Bethesdas and so on and so forth. Because yeah, so that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Mm.
In June, no word on what date exactly, but Devolver will be having a direct, and Devolver events are known to be fairly extreme, so it'll be
Yeah.
really interesting to see what they've got cooking up. One of which has been announced in the PlayStation showcase, which I'm very, very excited for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You're a real big fan of Devolver. Yeah.
I look, I
You've
love
played a fair few of
Devolver.
their games.
I love
Yeah.
quirky things, you know. I
That's
love
true.
it.
And yeah, Devolver's the one that, like, we sort of said Ubisoft do very similar things each and every time.
Yeah.
Activision do very similar, but Devolver, each of their games is just, like, it's totally different.
Yeah.
They just, somehow find
Same
these
with
real quirky gems, and yeah.
Yeah, same with Annapurna. They're like
True.
my
True.
favorites.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have Gamescom on August 22nd that will be running from August 23rd. Oh wait, that might be Oz dates then. August 23rd to
Yeah.
27th. And it's actually going to be a live event that people can attend, which would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no idea what
So that's-
exactly they'll be showing off there, but we'll find out.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be more of an opening sort of, like, I wouldn't call it a
Hands-on.
showcase. It's like an opening week type of thing. Yeah, where like people can sort of get in and get maybe a little bit of hands-on with
Maybe
some
like
of
a
the things that
PAX
are going to be
thing.
there. Or yeah, it's more of the convention side of things than it is like a showcase / announcement event.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
they
like, if
could be
people wanted to
announcing some
actually go and-
things over there
They could,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you got it. There's a stacked month or two coming up with that, man. Like, it feels
I
like every
know.
day or two, there's like gonna be tons of stuff you're gonna be bombarded with. And like we kind of said, this is meant to be replacing like what would have been E3 this year, because as we know, E3 has been sort of canned for the next year or so, until they kind of figure out what direction they want to come back in. But it's, yeah. So this will be good. It's going to be hard to keep up with it because it's not all going to be in one place like what it used to be. It's going to be all over the shop. But
yeah,
with the Summer Games Fest, they usually do stream all of these sorts of things on their Twitch and YouTube, so you shouldn't be searching around too far for it.
yeah. But I think also it's kind of good to have their own separate showcases, so that I feel like maybe they're like, okay, you can only show 10 games of this length
Yeah.
or something. So it's like,
yeah, and you got to be a bit selective with what you pick
yeah, and
things,
so
whereas,
probably
yeah.
indies are going to be pushed down, not shown as much. Whereas, like, for example, PlayStation having their own individual showcase, we got to see a whole bunch of games. And, like, yes, some of them are, the trailers are longer than others, but they pretty much showed it all. Like, I don't think they, sometimes they have, like, in text, they've got, like, oh, this is also a thing.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, no, I get you.
But shall
But
we talk
yeah.
about it?
We
really wanna
should,
talk about
because there's a bunch of stuff that we got this morning in the PlayStation Showcase. So for those that woke up and watched it was 1 a.m. Sydney time. I was gonna stay up, but then it hit like 11, and I was like, yeah, no, pass. So I went to bed, woke up this morning, and watched it in bed anyways, just on the iPad.
Yeah, it's the same.
And it was a pretty good little showcase. I was excited
loved
with
it.
a couple of things. There was one moment where I was scrolling on TikTok more than I was watching the showcase, but it was kind of like right before they did the big announcement. So
Yeah,
I think they were
imagine.
just kind of like filling in with the little bits of things. But so we're gonna go over kind of the games that me and Jenz are most excited about, because there was a bunch of games. It went for about an hour and 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot
when
of
it was all
games.
said and done. It was quite a long time. And there was a lot of filler, I will say, or things that we weren't that excited about. And there were also, games that were showcased that kind of gave us nothing. It was just like a 30-second promo of like a very cinematic, trailer, and there was no gameplay, there was no information about what to like things like that. We're not going to include because there's no way for us to kind of talk about them.
Mm.
So starting us off, Jens, I'm going to go over Immortals of Avium, which what they're quoting is an EA Originals game. So a totally fresh one, brand new IP, hasn't been done before. It's not like they've bought the Star Wars rights and it's a brand new EA Originals game. And it got a new gameplay trailer, and it's giving mid, honestly. I am not excited for this at all. It seems that EA aren't that excited about it either, because it's supposed to be releasing on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on July 20th, which is just around the corner. And we've barely seen any marketing for this. We've barely seen any trailers, any announcements, any posts, anything. Very similar situation with what's going on with the Golem game, which is releasing tomorrow, Jens. For those that are aware today, if you're listening to it, the Golem game is out, and we've seen absolutely no promo for it. So it seems like they're very similar in that they're just not excited for these types of games. And yeah, like I said, the gameplay trailer kind of shows it. Just seems like it's going to be very rinse and repeat of, walk into this room, shoot people with your magic wrist thing, go out, do the same thing again. I'm not excited for it at all.
I'm trying to find an image of it to remind me. Is it the one with like spells?
See what I mean? See, they make it hard to like track this shit down. Like it's so like to kind of describe
I got it. I agree.
We'll have all this behind us playing for the people that are watching the YouTube video, but for those that aren't watching the YouTube video, I'll kind of describe what it is. So it's like this magic wizard mage type of thing, and you've got this like wrist gauntlet which shoots out these
magic
bullet
stuff.
things. I don't know, but magic things, yeah. And it just looks like you walk into rooms with a bunch of enemies in them. You charge to the enemies, go into another room, do the same thing again. Looks like there's something of a story sprinkled throughout. I don't know what the overall story is going to be with this. It looks like you're hunting someone down for doing something to your family. I don't know. But yeah, the gameplay just seems kind of a bit, I don't know. I think they're kind of hoping that all the flashy lights and the big explosions and things draw people in, which it's not working for me. So I don't know. But
you're too smart.
That was kind of the first major thing that they announced in this showcase. So off to a great start, PlayStation. After that, we did go into a little bit of PlayStation VR 2, and that got some love as well. There was a couple of things, just some quick fire games that were shown. So Arizona Sunshine 2 was announced, coming out sometime this year. No exact release date, but they did say 2023. And it looks to be following on from what made the first one so popular for VR players. So, just quirky zombie shooter. Seems like there's some comedy that's going to be sprinkled out through it. Probably going to be somewhat of a shorter experience again, very similar to most VR games, I would imagine. But people were excited for it because Arizona Sunshine was one of the most popular PlayStation VR games, or just VR games of the last couple of years. So people are excited for that one. The next thing they kind of went into was Crossfire Sierra Squad. No release date was listed for this one, and this is a game where you're going to be able to live out your tactical military shooter dreams.
Yeah, it's like Siege
they're
VR.
The type of dreams you're having. Yeah. There's a lot of these types of games out for VR as a whole. I have played a couple of them. I've dabbled in them. There's some that do it better than others. This looks somewhat interesting. I'm probably not going to pick it up.
I feel like it's got a
like
short shelf life.
Yeah. I feel like that's the same with a lot of these VR games, is that like you pick them up on sale, and it's like, okay, I wouldn't have paid any more for this. That's fine. But I mean, the shooting seems cool. It seems like it is a VR game that you shoot a gun in. Like it's that's about it. There's no real major story to it from what I could tell. Synapse was actually the one that I was most interested in, other than the other one that we're getting.
It's like Inception.
Which is scheduled for release on 4th of July this year. But yeah, it's very like Inception-y, dreamscapey type thing. You play as what looks like an assassin who's trapped in the dreams of the person you're trying to take out, or something similar to that.
Yeah.
But like the gameplay in it seems quite involved. Like you're doing a lot more than just shooting people and walking through rooms, like what you probably do in Crossfire Sierra. You're interacting with the world around you. You're making people fly around and all that. So it seems cool. And it seems like it's got an interesting story behind it as well. So I'll be keeping my eyes peeled on that one. And that's probably our most recent one that we're getting in terms of release date. It's just around the corner now. We're also as well getting a Queen music pack for Beat Saber for those that are unfortunately enough to stuck playing it on console where you have to buy the music packs. If you get it on PC, you just get to mod the shit out of it and put whatever songs you want in there. But yeah, Queen music packs on a Beat Saber, which is kind of fun. We all enjoy a bit of Queen music over here, so
Queen is a great
for people that do
Beat
it.
Saber
Queen's
track
outstanding.
for sure.
Oh god, yeah, that'll get your heart rate pumping for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. The other thing that's going to get your heart rate pumping, though, Jens, is Resident Evil 4. The remake got its VR mode trailer. Now, we knew this was coming because when they did announce Resident Evil 4, the remake, and originally they said they were also working on a PlayStation VR 2 sort of experience for it. And it looks just like you'd expect, a somewhat spooky version of Resident Evil 4 because you're in the game now. You are playing as Leon. You're in there. There's no release date for this yet, as at the end of the trailer, they did still list it as being in development. So I would expect sometime early next year, I would say. I felt like if they were confident enough that it was going to come out this year, they would have said so. But you got to keep in mind we are already halfway through the year practically. So that's a lot of time to kind of, push something like this out. I would expect early next year at the earliest, I would say. Or very, 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 very late this year. Yeah. Next thing that was up was something that looked very familiar because it seems like Sony wants in on some of that Legend of Zelda love that Nintendo have been getting for the past couple of years now. Now, forget me, but this is going to be a little bit of a mouthful to pronounce, but Towers of Agasaba? Is... Yeah, let's go with that. It's a very Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom inspired game as you navigate the barren landscapes using your glider / paraglider to get around and harvest materials to help rebuild your town. It seems kind of fun and it seems very environmentally focused. I will be keeping my eye on this because like I said, I do like those kind of games where you just Minecraft, you go out, you harvest materials, you come back, you build a base, you just get to see it slowly build over time. And yeah, this looks like it's got just a little bit more fleshed out design to it. It looks like it's got a unique sort of style and different characters and things in it. It seems kind of cool.
Yeah, curious how they'll play.
Yeah. And this is releasing sometime next year, 2024. No exact window was given for this one, so, keep your eyes and ears peeled. But like I said, we'll be keeping our eyes on this one. Nomada Studio as well, Jens, are back after their smash hit Grizz that came out a couple of years back. And they're back with the beautiful and unique watercolor art style in Never, it's called. Not much was revealed in the trailer, but it looks like you're going to need to bring your box of tissues and have them nearby at all times because it was a kind of heartbreaking
Bro,
trailer.
I cried.
It was, I was not expecting it to go the way that it did. Very much so.
I am so excited for this.
But yeah, it looks really good.
The art is amazing.
Nomada Studio are very good at doing these types of games where there's there's not crazy voice acting in them. There's not all this crazy, animation and things, but the art style is just super something unique and different, and they just storytell
so well.
But the art style kind of works with it. Yeah, that's it. It's part and parcel of it all. So this is going to be one to keep your eyes on as well. There was no release date for this one either. It should be coming out sometime next year, I would assume. But keep your eyes peeled on that one. Another one, and now I showed Emma this because I know that she absolutely loves one of these games that Giant Squid has made, Journey. But Giant Squid are back from the makers of Abzu, The Pathers, and Journey, like I sort of just said, with another thought-provoking game titled Sword of the Sea. Are you going to use your sword, Jens, to fight off enemies? No. You use it like a skateboard or surfboard or snowboard or sandboard or something to traverse the environment, which looks very similar to Journey. It looks very desert, sand dune things like that. No release date for this one either, but I will definitely be picking this one up because Journey was one of the best games that you could have played on I think the PlayStation 3 when it first came out. I tell everyone if you haven't played Journey, play it. It's so good. You can still find, to not spoil it, servers and things that run it. It's such a good game. I highly recommend it to everyone.
I played it late. I played it fairly recently, and I honestly think it does not serve what it was serving last time when there was more players on. So for this game, highly recommend. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing, but just in case,
but just pick
play
it up
straight away.
Just get it. Yeah. I mean, having said that as well, I did realize that none of these games, even though like we didn't get any like hard release dates for a lot of
Mm.
them, none of them even outlined if they were coming to
Oh, like other
like PlayStation
platforms?
Plus. Well, no, the PlayStation Plus, like you know how
Oh,
they've got
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
the extra tier and things. You would have thought that something like that would have been on Showcase with it being like a first party PlayStation product as
Mm,
well, but I didn't see any of it. So you know, typically these sorts of games, these smaller indie games, are the ones that usually do go straight to those
yeah.
sort of services from experience, anyways. So yeah, if you haven't already, I recommend it to everyone that comes through that picks up a PlayStation. Um, just look at the PlayStation Plus, the extra tier, because it's actually a pretty decent value. Like once it's all said and done.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on, though, one that me and Jens were super excited for when we
Mhm.
saw the trailer, but Phantom Blade Zero is a new hack and slash RPG set in the Phantom World. The Phantom World is a place where Chinese kung fu, steampunk, and more blend together into this weird sort of, you know, morphed reality type of a thing. And Phantom Blade Zero is featuring a fast-paced sword combat, which looks freaking awesome, I might add, in a bleak and punishing semi-open world. So it
So
looks like it's going to be
cool.
somewhat of a linear adventure, but this trailer, oh my, it looks awesome. I cannot wait for this. There's no release date window for this game just yet, so I'd expect late 2024, early 25. I would say it does seem like it's in quite an early development because what we got shown wasn't like gameplay; it was like
No,
a
yeah.
cinematic sort of a thing. So it's I would expect sometime late next year at the earliest. But it looks sick. I can't wait for this.
Very excited for
I'm
this one.
hoping. I said to Jens at the start before we started recording, I was like, I'm hoping that this isn't like Sekiro where it's brutally hard because it's gonna put me off wanting to play it.
Yeah.
I hope that it's somewhat of a more accessible game. I would say, but it from the trailer, it's not looking like it. It looks like it's gonna be
It
quite
looks
tricky.
pretty hard in the
So
trailer.
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
Fingers
I'll
crossed.
still keep my eyes and ears peeled on it. Fingers crossed that I can actually get through it. But yeah, this looks sick. I can't wait for this. A little bit of a weird question to intervene with, Jens, but have you ever wanted to have like a foam
Nope.
party with some
Nope.
friends and just like bring them all over and
Nope.
like you guys just get like foam guns and shoot
Nope.
foam at each other? Like just me. Okay, just me then.
Nope.
Well, Square Enix has got my back covered because Foamsters is coming out and it just looks like Splatoon.
Yeah, it's
It
Splatoon but
like it's
foam.
yeah.
Yay.
Honestly, like when I watched this trailer, I was like, okay, this seems kind of weird. And then they started doing all the foam stuff, and I was like, okay, this is Splatoon. Like it's a 1-to-1,
It's like a
like almost
weird
recreation of it.
anime
It's
Splatoon kinky vibe that
yeah, it's yeah,
I just don't.
it's very Square Enix. I'll say that. Like
that's a
um,
very good way to put it.
but I do want to know as well, Jens.
Mm.
Can you categorize this as a PvP shooter, or is it a PvP sprayer or PvP squirter?
I think
I want to know because
that is
like
up to you to decide.
yeah, okay.
How kinky you
Whatever
feeling?
whatever you align with most in your heart is what it is. But it's some new PvP game that's coming out where players are tasked with trying to cover the environment in as much foam as possible, as well as covering your friends and family in foam. Like
Yes.
who doesn't want to do that?
I will say,
Mm.
watch this trailer just to see
Yeah. What we're
the
talking about.
stark contrast between the cinematic CG of like these anime characters like showing off the guns, and then it goes to gameplay footage, and just you just have to watch it. It's
Yeah.
something else.
It really is something. Foamsters, if you want to pick it up, is coming to both PlayStation 4 as
Oh.
well as PlayStation 5 sometime soon, but they haven't announced an exact release date as of yet. I can't wait for this. This is probably my most anticipated game of the whole Direct, Jens.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with you.
I think a lot of people too.
Looks great. Looks great. No, honestly, moving on though, one of probably the coolest ones that I saw in this sort of showcase is called Fair Games, stylized with a $S at the end instead of an actual S, which is an upcoming heist 'em up where you and a group of friends take on the ultra wealthy as you compete against other groups of players to try and take out the biggest payday you can. Obviously by stealing the ultra wealthy stuff. What else do you want to do? The game is coming to both PS5 and PC sometime soon, and no release window was given for the game, but it does look like it's going to be quite fun. I'm very interested in this one. Seems like it's going to be a mix of like a sci-fi slash somewhat down to earth, first person shooter.
Yeah,
And
like
I'm interested.
it'd be
Like,
interesting. I'm all for heists, so especially with co-op heists, I think they're good fun.
yeah, I think that's going to be where it shines the most is like, you and maybe 3 or 4 others, like, you're right on the top of getting this like big payday. And then another group comes in and sort of just
Yeah,
steals it out from
it'd
underneath
be
you. Or you do
great.
the reverse where like a person is trying to just escape and you just come in and manage to take all of their loot. Like it's going to be very one of those intense games where you just, you're all in it to win it, I guess. But I'm very excited for this one.
That'd be fun.
Another one, Jens, that you were kind of excited with was the new Bungie game, which I was not expecting Bungie to be there at all for anything
Same.
not Destiny related. When I saw Bungie, I was like, oh, okay, another Destiny thing, cool. No, Bungie were there to unveil their brand new game titled Marathon. Well, brand new in quotations, but Marathon, which is their latest game in development, which looks to be a reboot of the original series from the 90s sometime, which was only released on Mac OS.
Mac OS.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
List 5 games that were released only on Mac. Go.
God.
Can't do it, see?
Yeah.
According to PlayStation, this game is going to be solely PvP focused and isn't going to feature any sort of single player campaign, which obviously you kind of expect these days, especially from Bungie, who are kind of doing that PvP
live service
thing quite well, live servicey thing. I feel like that their board of directors is going to be like, you want to do a single player game? Hell no, that's not going to make us as much money. Live service it is. Expect that as well for Marathon. There was no release date sort of or window for this, so I would expect again sometime next year. But it seems kind of cool from what I've seen elsewhere online. It looks like it's going to be one of those looter escapey type games similar to Tarkov or those types of games.
Grab your thing,
so again,
extract.
Kind of similar to Fair Games as well. It's going to be a very intense looking sort of shooter experience,
Looks
I would
cool.
say. But yeah, I'll keep my eyes on this one. So it's Bungie. They did also do a interview with the sort of head developer for Marathon too, and he did say that it's going to have a very Bungie feel to it. So whatever that means, Bungie fans expect to enjoy
maybe a
the
Destiny
gameplayness,
or
I
Halo
guess.
feel. I don't know.
Something. But it's coming out sometime soon, so it looks kind of fun.
Now this.
We got another spooky look at Alan Wake as well, Jens. Alan Wake 2. And I've never played the original. I don't know if you have. I think you have.
I think I did a bit, but I didn't finish
I was going to say, I think I remember you said playing like a little bit of it, but I don't remember from what I've seen of the original, which I have seen a fair bit of gameplay from it, but the trailer for Alan Wake 2 seems like they're stepping the horror up to like 11 or something, because it's, from what I remember of Alan Wake 1, this does not look anywhere near as spooky as what Alan Wake 2 is. The trailer outlined a bunch of brand new characters to the series who seem to be joining Alan along on his investigation. The main one being Saga Anderson. She also appears to be a playable character who I'm assuming you're going to be switching between from time to time when Alan is stuck in the dark place or something like that. And it seems kind of cool. Like the gameplay seems different. The characters obviously are quite different. The enemies as well. Their style seems very cool and freaky. So
definitely upping the horror notch on this one compared to
for sure
the first one. So that plus really good writing. I'm so on board.
Down for. Yeah. So this very interested in looking forward to. Sorry. I will probably be picking this one up and playing this one at some point. Yeah.
Yes.
Ubisoft Jens was also there doing Ubisoft things, and they gave us a new look at Assassin's Creed Mirage, and this time we got a release date. According to Ubisoft, Mirage is a much smaller scale and scope compared to the last couple of Assassin's Creed games, which is great because it should help to focus on what made the first few so great. The actual assassinating of people, rather than like leveling up my sword and my defensive stats and taming camel. Like, I don't care about all it. Just let me assassinate people. Mirage is going to be hitting your consoles as well as PC and Amazon Luna on October 12th this year. They did give us a new sort of gameplay trailer for it. It was kind of a mix between both gameplay and like stylized CG stuff. It is an Assassin's Creed game. I don't know how to say it otherwise. There wasn't anything
it's what you
that was like
expect.
Crazy mind-blowing stuff to it. It was, it's exactly, what we would expect. All right, gents, take a big sip of water, buckle up, because we're gonna save the best for last, obviously. And that's kind of what Sony did as well. Um, Starting us off, Project Q.
Yeah.
Project Q was revealed, which is a brand new handheld device from Sony that pairs up directly with your PlayStation 5. Project Q is going to allow players to stream any game from their PS5 console using the remote play over Wi-Fi. The disappointing part is it's basically just a DualSense controller with an 8-inch display jammed in the middle of it. It's also something that I can currently do on my mobile phone. If I wanted
Yes.
to, I could open up the PlayStation app and I could use PlayStation streaming to like play games on my phone or my iPad even, which I have done. I've played FIFA on my iPad in bed when I
Oh,
was too
really?
lazy to get up to turn my PlayStation on. It's totally something you can do currently. So I don't really see the point of this device other than obviously making Sony more money.
Yeah, it's
Because
a
you
weird
can
one.
already do it. I was expecting if they were gonna like because there's been rumors that Sony have been working on a handheld device for a couple of months now, and I was expecting when we were finally going to get news of this so-called device that it was going to be
Mm.
very similar to the PSP or the
Yeah,
Nintendo
that's what
or
I
something
thought.
where it's going to be its own standalone console that like yes can probably support PlayStation streaming and things because like why wouldn't you, but is also going to get their own type of games. That's what I was expecting. We didn't get that, so I'm somewhat disappointed in this announcement. I probably won't be picking one up because I'm just not that interested in playing FIFA whilst I'm also at work when I could just be doing like playing Marvel Snap on my phone. Like yeah.
It's
So yeah,
this was a weird announcement. It kind of feels like a yeah, exactly. You can use your phone and buy a
mm,
backbone if you want to
exactly. Yeah,
with it, but very curious if
I
people will buy this.
kind of felt like the Sony board was like, look, we need to get in on this handheld gaming market, and how can we do it? And someone
Yeah,
was
maybe
just
it's
like,
oh
just
sorry.
make a phone with a controller on it, like it. Yeah.
Maybe it's just the beginning of something or I don't know.
True, true. Maybe it's just like an interest gauger as well, depending on how well this product supposedly does or doesn't do, as to whether or not they will put more, effort into developing an actual handheld device. But time will tell. There was no apparent release date or window for this, and it's still titled Project Q. There was no like
Mm.
actual name for it or anything like that, so it's still probably very early stages. Expect late next year, early 2025. I would assume. I would assume. The next big thing that was announced, and I was not expecting this at all, and neither was the chat because the chat was popping off for this, going absolutely bonkers. But Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting a remake, which is very, very exciting because I have wanted to play the Metal Gear games for ages.
Me
And again,
too.
very similar to what we've talked about, like in terms of like the Silent Hill games and some of those older Resident Evil games before they did all the remakes being almost unplayable because of the control
Yeah.
schemes and, how you had to get to the this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm after. They are remaking it from the ground up by looks of it. I would assume in the same engine that the latest Metal
Mm.
Gear Solid games have been made in because those games looked great. And then the screenshots, which we'll have behind us, because there was no like real trailer for this. It was a cinematic thing. But the
Cinematic, yeah.
screenshots look very similar to what we've got in the latest Metal Gear games as well. So it's no gameplay, like I said, was shown. It was just a rendered cinematic revealing Snake. PlayStation then also went on to announce that the Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1, which includes Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, will be coming to PlayStation 5 sometime this fall. That Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 is basically like a kind of HD upscale of the games and like adding in slightly different controls. They're not full remasters or anything of the games or
Mm.
remakes and things. They're kind of just like an upscale and bringing them onto newer consoles, which they have had for PlayStation 4, I think, previously. So they're kind of just like releasing that again for PS5, which is also kind of cool. I'll probably be picking those up so I can then go through and play the first couple before
Yeah.
getting to the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. But yeah, this was a big announcement. Probably not as big
As the
as
next one.
Spider-Man 2. Uh, I was expecting this. Everyone was expecting this. It was right at the end. They saved the best for last, obviously. And it was the only game that I can actually remember from the whole showcase that showed proper gameplay.
Yeah.
Like from word to go, it was just gameplay, gameplay, gameplay. It wasn't rendered. It wasn't CG. It wasn't cinema. It was
It
full
was
gameplay,
a gameplay. Yeah.
and it was fucking great. It was great. I was so excited, obviously. if you couldn't tell behind me, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I absolutely adore the first one. Miles was somewhat disappointing. I still played the shit out of it. I can't wait for this. And they did reveal a lot as well. So it wasn't just kind of, here's that we're making it, it's out, this is the release date or whatever. They revealed quite a bit. They had a beefy gameplay showcase for us. It probably lasted close to like 10 minutes almost, I feel.
Yeah, it was long.
It was quite a while. Featuring Spider-Man, his dripped out new symbiote suit, which looks awesome. It looks very similar to what you got in the comics and things, which I'm very excited for. Miles was also there, and he was in the same suit from the previous game. We also got introduced to Kraven the Hunter. Hell yeah, can't wait for that. And Dr. Kurt Connors is also in there as well, aka the Lizard, for those that aren't somewhat aware. Spidey as well, we got look at his new moveset when he's interacting with the symbiote. So when he's in that symbiote suit, he can do a whole bunch of like different attacks and things.
Yeah.
And we can also tell that the symbiote is starting to take over and affect Peter's sort of aggressiveness as well, which is obviously a very similar storyline to when he first got the symbiote suit, like in the comics. And if you guys have seen Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, you'll also have a very similar sort of, vibe with that as well. The gameplay also revealed that we're going to be able to switch between both Spidey and Miles during select sequences. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be like you can only switch between them like when the game wants you to, or if you're in free mode where you're not really actively doing any missions, if you can just freely switch between Spidey or Miles, that would be kind of cool. If you can't do that during the main part of the game, I would expect you to be able to do that totally fine once you finish the main campaign and things like that. But that was a cool addition as well. It's cool that we're going to see them actually working together in this next one and not kind of, Miles is just a secondary character or Spidey's just a secondary character. They're both going to be actively in the game and, all that sort of stuff. As we don't know as well who else is going to be in there. We just know these couple of handful characters. So I can't wait. I absolutely
It looks so good.
It looks so freaking good.
They just absolutely nailed combat, and the camera movement with combat is just so exhilarating. Being like, just the way the camera moves and then angles is just like sick. It's so cool.
It really makes you feel like Spider-Man, one might say, Jenz.
It's very, very good. And it works so well. It'd be so cool if there was ever going to be like a co-op where one person plays Spider-Man and the other guy plays Miles.
God,
That'd
that
be
would be
sick.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, I love the fact that they brought the two together and you can interact and switch between the two and kind of like get best of both worlds in a way of like different ways of combats and stuff. It's just great.
Because that's it too. Both Spidey and Miles have very different sort of skill sets. Other than the fact they're obviously both Spider-Man and they can both like web sling and things. Miles can obviously go invisible and, he can like be a little bit more stealthy and he has like his electricity sort of attacks and like they both have different move sets and things. I will very much expect at some point that you will have to beat the ever-living shit out of Spider-Man to get the symbiote off him as Miles.
I reckon.
That's just something I can already tell being a somewhat Spider-Man fan. I also assume that you're tracking down Kurt Connors to help. I think Peter in the trailer is realizing that the symbiote is taking over him in some way, and he's trying to track down Kurt Connors, who is a world-renowned scientist, in a way to try and help him get the symbiote off, because Connors also has that kind of a first-hand effect of when he turns into Lizard, the Lizard takes over his brain. So he has that kind of it's very comic booky. Obviously, it's very much ripped straight out of the pages of those. I absolutely can't wait for it. There's still no official release date for it yet. It is coming out this year, they have confirmed, but there's still no release date for it. So we should be getting that, I would say, in the next little direct thing whenever they decide to do that. But my God, I can't wait for this. Yeah.
It's going to be sick. It's going to be huge when it comes out. It looks amazing. So
honestly, I think I'm probably going to take work off. If I'm working that day, because I usually work Fridays as well, like when most games come out, probably will take the day off.
Yeah, plan your sick leave around it for sure.
100%. Yeah.
I reckon it's probably going to come out like end of the year, like Christmas time.
I would, if I was a betting man, I would say Christmas time or just before Christmas, like November type area.
October to December is my gauge.
Yeah. And then it wouldn't surprise me as well if they bundle it and do like a
Oh.
Spider-Man edition PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
which,
there'll be like a controller or something like Ragnarok
will
did.
break my heart if they release a new console, because I'll have to toss up if I want to like pay for a new console.
Nah, I don't
'cause it's got
reckon
Spider-Man branding on
they
it, but
would. I reckon
don't think I
they'll-
will. I think I'll still wait for a PlayStation 5 Pro if they ever do that. Which there has also been rumors surrounding that. They were expecting some sort of announcement regarding that today, but we didn't get that, obviously. But yeah, if there's a controller, if there's like things like done, sold.
Oh yeah,
I'll have
sure.
a fourth. I've got 3 control. I'll have a 4th. I don't care.
Well, you have it with a JB Hi-Fi discount, so honestly, you can't say no.
This is true. This is true. This is very true. I'm also gonna tell whoever comes in to set up the merch, I'm like, you better bring in extra posters because I'm fucking taking these bad boys down.
Oh,
I guarantee
yeah.
you. Like, yeah. Oh. But yeah, that was pretty much it. There was also obviously a couple of other games that were announced during the showcase, most of which were like they gave us nothing. So there was, like I said, no point in sort of bringing them up.
There was a couple of indies that were really cute. There was one, Plucky Squire looks really fun. It's like a...
Is that the one where you come off the pages of the book?
Yeah, the book one.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good.
And then the one
too,
by Revenant Hill looks good. From the makers of Night in the Woods. So.
Yes, yeah. That was the one with the black cat, was it?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, okay. Yeah. No, there were, there was a couple of other ones that were looking good, but they just didn't show too much.
It just doesn't show very much. But yeah, I highly recommend go watch the showcase. It's just a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. If you've got an hour lunch break, pop it on in the background, It's
And if you only can watch one, watch the Grizz one.
Or the Spider-Man one, or the Spider-Man one.
Oh, true.
I might watch that again after.
Watch the Spider-Man one. It is exhilarating.
Yeah. I'll watch that before bed every night, I think. Yeah. But all right, Jenz, before we end up talking about Spider-Man for the next hour, was there anything you want to talk about before we wrap up for the week?
No.
Yeah, no, nothing from me either. Thank you guys as always for listening. Thank you for watching. We hope we will see you sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.